Statistics can be defined as the practice or science of collecting and analyzing numerical data in large quantities, especially for the purpose of inferring proportions in a whole from those in a representative sample. What this essentially means is that in compiling statistics, we usually extract a sample using a preferred method from a whole or population. We next analyze the attributes unique to that sample and interpret the findings to draw conclusions about the whole. To do that, it is important that we have a sound understanding of the concepts of population and samples. The specific objectives: at the end of this lesson, students should be able to understand the terms population, parameter, sample, and statistics, differentiate between sample and population attributes. So we will first look at the population parameters. It's important to understand certain terms. One such term is population. This refers to the complete set of objects or persons of interest. For example, the total students in a school. As we can see here, there's an example. This is all the students in Scarborough Secondary School. Well, at least we hope so, as this is a picture of them during assembly. Next is the parameter. The word parameter is a measurable attribute of an entire population, such as average GPA. Population parameters refer to the collection of measurable attributes of an entire population. Sample statistics. A sample is a subset of a certain population. Example, the fifth form students. A statistic is a measurable attribute of a sample. Example, average GPA. Now, as we look at the diagram on the right here, this pie chart, the blue part represents the entire population, meaning all the students in this school. Well, let's use Scarborough Secondary School. This little pie here is a sample which would refer to, in this context, the fifth form students. All right. So the statistic average GPA would not refer to the average GPA of all the students in Scarborough Secondary School, but it would refer to the average GPA of the sample class, which is the fifth form students. Therefore, sample statistics refer to the collection of values that describe attributes of a sample. So let's use a COVID-19 example to bring it all together. As at September 8th of 2020, this year, the total world population was estimated at 7.8 billion. This is our population. The total population of Trinidad and Tobago, TNT, was 1,400,350. This constitutes our sample because this is actually a subset of the population. The total population of the world, 7.8 billion, and well, we roughly have 1.4 million in Trinidad and Tobago. So let's look at a particular parameter, the death rate. The death rate refers to how fast or slow people are dying in relation to the population. But this death rate, we want to calculate it for Trinidad and Tobago. Now, the number of COVID-19 deaths in Trinidad and Tobago as at September 8, 2020 was 37. And the TNT death rate was calculated therefore as 37 divided by 1,400,350. We multiply that by 100% and we get an estimated death rate of 0.003%. This is our statistic because this is the value of the measurable attribute death rate as it pertains to the sample population of Trinidad and Tobago. So what is the main difference? What is the difference between sample and population attributes? The answer is population attributes address characteristics of all the objects or persons of interest in the data set. Sample attributes, however, address the characteristics of the objects within the sample. So we're going to use another example just to drive home and make this clear, drive home the point and make it clear. As at September 8, 2020, the worldwide COVID-19 death rate was estimated at 0.01%. The population at that time was 7.8 billion. So what we would say here is that the population attribute, which is death rate, the actual value is 0.01. At least this is an estimate, and therefore the characteristic, we could describe it as low. So the worldwide COVID-19 death rate as at September 8, 2020 is considered low. We look also at the Trinidad and Tobago death rate, which represents a sample of the world, a subpopulation of 1,400,350. The death rate was calculated at 0.003%, and that is very low. Okay, so this is the main difference between what we consider sample attributes as opposed to population attributes. Population attributes address the characteristics of all the objects or persons of interest, which in this case is every single person in the world. I mean, this value 7.8 billion is at best an estimate, all right? But the sample attributes address the characteristics of the objects within the sample. As we could see here, there were different values that were calculated. For the worldwide death rate, it was 0.01%, and for the Trinidad and Tobago COVID-19 death rate, it was 0.003%. So one population attribute was low and one sample attribute was very low. Okay, so therein ends the lesson. Our next lesson will be constructing a frequency table.